Hello again and welcome to Weirdos. I'm Jay.
And I'm Kellen.
And we are back the week after Thanksgiving.
Whoop, whoop.
A little still full from our meals.
So full. I had 3 Thanksgivings.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, work, my family, and my extended family, my in-laws.
We didn't have one at work. They usually do make us or buy us food, but they didn't this year for some reason.
Yeah, I work every Thanksgiving because it's double time. But yeah, we fix all the food there, so I kind of get to decide what the menu's going to be.
Yeah, that's fun. I think I only had 2 this year. Technically 3. My dad, he doesn't like for us to cook, and he doesn't cook, so we went to Cracker Barrel the night before. So,
nice.
Classic.
Nice.
So, again, we're back. This is our first episode of December. We're going to have 3 this month.
Whoop, whoop.
So you will get tired of us this month. But we're thinking about what to do and what to talk about. And I'm like, I think it'd be fun. Somebody has recently said, like, you guys don't just shoot the shit. You don't just talk to talk. You know, like we always have a subject. And I was like, that's. I think we could have a good time if we just talk about what's on our mind, what's been going on.
Are people that interested in our opinions on random
Probably
stuff?
not. The numbers will tell us. The numbers will definitely tell us. But the next episode is going to be dark, so enjoy this one while you can.
So have some sad moments, some seasonal affective depression
every year. But I don't know if you have anything particular. I had a couple things that I had locked up. Before we get into that, we're going to start randomly doing this thing where we have stickers and we have buttons now, and we want to give you some. In order to do that, you have to listen to this episode. And at some point during this episode, not right now, not the ending, as Kellen coached me up on, because then you would just fast forward to the end. But we're going to give you a word. And if you answer so we're going to give you a word. And on Instagram, after the show debuts, probably the next day, we're going to do an Instagram post. You tell us what the keyword was, and we're going to send you some stickers.
The word of the day.
And maybe we'll send you more than that.
Yeah,
maybe we'll draw you a picture. Maybe we'll send you some nudes. I don't know, but we'll definitely give you something. So pay attention. We're gonna give you a random word today, and then I'm gonna have to write it down so I remember what it was. But the first thing I thought we should talk about was immigration reform.
Oh God!
No, I'm just kidding. First thing I wanted to talk about was you watched a movie last week.
I did.
What movie did you watch last week?
Oh God! It's a little old thing called The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Yeah.
The Peter Pan movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rufio. It's my favorite.
The night before Thanksgiving, Wednesday, I had the pleasure of going to the 5 Spot and seeing one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. But it was topped off at the end by Tim Capello. So Tim Capello is the sax player from Lost Boys.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The highlight of the movie.
The highlight of the movie. He was in. If you've never seen Lost Boys, go watch it, first of all. It's a great vampire movie. But if you have seen it, then you would recall there's a party scene on the boardwalk, dock, wherever it was, and there was a shirtless man playing saxophone very aggressively.
Yeah, he was.
For about 12 seconds.
The greased up sax guy.
Very greased up. That's Tim Capello. Tim Capello, he also played for Tina Turner back in the day. Like, you see some of her music videos, he's in there just...
Dude was jacked. So
he was so jacked. He played for Peter Gabriel. He played for Ringo Starr. He was in an episode of Miami Vice, which he played behind him as he played a song.
That makes
sense. It was the highlights of him in Miami Vice, which was just on repeat like 4 or 5 times as the song went on. I mean, he's an older man, 50s, 60s.
It has to be, yeah.
He plays saxophone. That's his claim to fame.
Yeah.
And he crushed it. Like, I'm not even going to lie.
Wow.
Like, from start to finish, like, he came out of the back door, which if you've never been to the 5 Spots where people go to smoke. So he came from that door with his saxophone, with his little wireless speaker, and he just went all through the crowd, saxing all over everybody. Like, he got up on Lindsay twice. Yeah, he got up on Lindsay twice. He got up on me once. Like, he was just crushing it. And me being a huge horror fan, I love Lost Boys, and I have the vinyl soundtrack, which has I Still Believe on there, which is a fantastic song. How many times have you listened to that?
like
recently?
40 since you sent me the clip of him gyrating on the beach.
That's today's word, gyrating.
Gyrating.
We're not even going to wait. Today's secret word is gyrating. Google it to learn how to spell it, and then keep an eye out on Instagram. And if you repeat gyrating to us when we ask, we will send you some stickers. But I still believe it's a great song.
So good.
And what I loved about him is he's reached that point where he knows people don't necessarily take him seriously anymore, which is a very hard thing to achieve, like Hasselhoff has done. So he's sitting there. He's like, I know you're not here for Tina Turner. I know you're not here for Ringo. Or he's like, I know you're here for the best vampire movie ever made. And they were like, yeah. And like, as soon as he came out, everyone's like, I still believe. Play I Still Believe. He's like, I'm not going to play that now because you'll freaking leave. He's like, I'm not stupid. But a lot of people were there ironically.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just tell. And it's East Nashville. So,
Right.
But I was there, like, we were there early, which I'm sorry, Lindsay, still, how early we were, because we really, honestly, we got there at 8:30, 8:40, and we really didn't need to be there until midnight.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, the beginning of that show was rough. Like, I was so pissed. Like, I haven't drank in a long time. Like, I have to get a beer. And then the beer I got was flat, so he gave me 2 in exchange for it. So I was like, okay, let's go.
There you go.
But he finishes his set, and it's fantastic. And then he beats everybody. I get my stuff signed. And then I'm like, can we get a picture? He's like, oh, absolutely. So we take a picture. He's like, we're going to do 2 pictures. He tells me, he's like, we're going to do 2 pictures. And he's like, we're going to do 2. And he's like, all right, just this one. And he's holding his sax and my arm around him. And he's like, all right, now give me everything you got. And my everything you got is like my tongue out, my devil horns up. And then he just like bent down with his saxophone. Like, I guess that's everything he got. But a lot of fun. Like, last week was rough for me.
Right.
But that was a good, little cap to the end of the week. And it got you to watch Lost Boys, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. It was a movie. So I judge movies based on the poster, which is dumb. But
it is dumb because there are some badass posters, some shitty movies out there.
Yeah, that's facts. But I always looked at it, and I was just like, it just looks so cheesy. Like, it doesn't look interesting at all.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how it got brought up, because you didn't tell me you were going to go see that guy. It got brought up somehow. And I was like, oh yeah, never seen that. And then you sent me the clip of him, saxing it up on the beach. And so I looked, and it wasn't streaming anywhere that I could just watch it for free. So I was like, I don't want to pay $3.99 for a movie that I may not like. Even though I'd heard so many people was like, oh, it's a classic. It's so good. I mean, everybody knows it's a classic. Mm-hmm. So I found on YouTube somebody who had broke the movie down into all of its clips. So like if you were to pull up the Blu-ray chapter selection, they'd broke it down like that. So it's the entire movie broken down. So I watched it over 2 days. And funny story, I was at the theater watching Ghostbusters Afterlife for the second time, and the first 20 minutes of that movie, I had my phone in my face watching Lost Boys. The only thing that I had with the movie's fantastic. Full disclosure, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to have to watch it again where I can just sit down and watch it straight through because it was fantastic. But the jumps from scene to scene, like there was no fluidity. It was just like, oh, hey, Granddad, I guess we're staying here for you like everybody else. I was like, what is going on? Like, they didn't even say they were going to a party. It was just all of a sudden they're like helping, do stuff at their granddad's house. And the next thing you know is on the beach.
Welcome to the 80s.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was, and I am terrible with names, but I will be damned if I'm ever going to forget Michael, because they say that name 400 times in that movie. Everybody says it. Both of the Coreys say it.
The Frog Brothers.
1,000 times. Kiefer Sutherland, Michael, be one of us, Michael. The chick in the movie, Michael, no. Like, okay, I get it.
In their defense, Michael is probably not a name you could forget anyway. So.
Yeah, fair. My brother-in-law's name's Michael, so I think it would help.
Sorry,
but
Michael.
yeah, that's been like a consistency this year, though. Like, there's been several movies that I've never seen before, but because of you, I've watched. Tombstone was one of them that I never watched.
Tombstone wasn't solely from me, though.
Yeah, I had that from all angles.
Yeah, as you should have, because Tombstone's the best Western ever made.
Yeah, Val Kilmer actually called me, and he was like, you got to watch the movie.
He doesn't sound like that anymore. He's much weaker. You go, watch the movie, please. I have a documentary coming out too.
So yeah, I've been trying to do that more because, like, there's so much content, TV shows, movies, just from all angles, whether it's in theaters, on actual TV, streaming services, wherever. It's overwhelming. So I've decided, like, okay, if somebody says, like, this is really good, you should watch it. I try to find it and then watch it if I have the time right then. Like with Lost Boys, it was like 5 minutes after our conversation, I found it and started it.
Nice.
Tombstone was like 2 days later, which that was the sadder one. I don't own Lost Boys, but I do own Tombstone and have for a while and hadn't watched it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, trying to, and it's worked out so far. So
I haven't given you any stinkers yet. That's because I have great taste.
And modesty.
I'm very modest. So I haven't seen Ghostbusters yet, but I heard it's fantastic.
I've seen it twice now.
So that kind of segues into what else I was going to say here. So Paul Rudd is the sexiest man alive.
Yeah, true story.
I was thinking about that. I don't know why. I don't know when. I was sitting there thinking, like, why do they not have a sexiest woman alive?
Because we're woke.
I guess, but that's sexist, right?
Yeah, well, we have entire magazines devoted to sexy women, like Sports Illustrated Swimsuit. You've got Cosmo and all these other
Maxim.
Maxim
does do the sexiest woman alive thing. They do like a top 100. I was sitting there thinking about that. I'm like, I asked Lindsay, I'm like, did they not do a sexiest woman alive? I feel like that would be fair.
Yeah.
And then, which I was hoping Rodney was going to be in the room for this part, but if they did, who would you have picked?
Sexiest woman alive?
Yeah.
Oh God. So Anna Kendrick's first name always pops into my head. I adore her, and I think that the reason I think that she's attractive is the same reason Paul Rudd's voted sexiest man alive, and it's personality. Personality is huge because being objective, Paul Rudd is not what I would consider a sexy man. Like George Clooney back in the day makes sense.
Not conventional sex.
Yeah, exactly. Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp in his pre-wino years. That you can understand why women find those people physically attractive.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd is just a normal guy, in my opinion. I mean, he's not ugly by any means, but he's an everyman. But his personality is through the roof, and that's very attractive. So yeah, that would be mine. Anna Kendrick.
What's funny is like Paul Rudd won, and I don't think the last one was Idris Elba, but he was definitely one of the last two. Like that's a big contrast right there.
And what's funny about Idris Elba is he is a fantastic looking man. His normal speaking voice throws me off. It's like David Beckham.
Yeah.
Like David Beckham's a good looking guy, and then he's like, "Oh, hello, what's going on, guys?" I'm like, "Oh, God, what is that?
Gross, get out of here."
Idris Elba's the same way. It's like sexy man walks in, and then he's like, I'm just ready to go over here and drink some beers. I'm like,
hello.
What is that? What is that? Hello, chums.
I'm Idris Elba. Would you like to go on a date with me? But do you say yes or do you say no? Because you're like, okay, your bod's great, but your voice is shit. Like, how do you choose?
Yeah. What about bedroom talk? Oh, right there. I love that so much. Keep doing that, babe. Keep doing that.
This never happens to me, I promise.
That's maybe why we don't just spitball.
So Anna Kendrick is your number one. So I did a lot of thinking, and my number one, I would have to say, is my wife. Boom. Hear that, Megan? I chose my wife. I didn't choose Anna Kendrick.
Wow. I never saw the bus. Of course, my wife is up there.
It's too late.
She's number one, but that's an obvious answer, and it's not near a holiday that I need to get brownie points for.
Right, not at all. I was thinking about it.
Much, Megan.
It's very hard. It's easy for you. It's a hard thing for me to answer because there are obviously women out there who are beautiful, but I don't know who I would say would be number one. We were watching I'll Be Home for Christmas last night with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Jessica Biel, and young Jessica Biel. I'm like, that's what's her name, right? From Seventh Heaven. He's like, yeah, Jessica Biel. I'm like, yeah, I know who Jessica Biel is. Trust me, I know Jessica Biel. And she's like, what? Like, Every man knows who Jessica Biel is.
Yeah.
She's like, she's married to Justin Timberlake. I'm like, I know who she is.
Yeah.
I owned the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake for that reason. But yeah, I just thought that was funny that people doesn't have the sexiest woman alive thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, granted, we also have everything dedicated to men.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was a little strange. And Maxim is not necessarily the go-to for women.
Yeah.
I think that's the go-to for teenagers because I know I bought
Yeah.
my fair share in high school and college for the workout and for the articles,
Yeah.
obviously.
Talking about finding people attractive, had a funny conversation with my wife, speaking of her that I love so much, this week because she was wearing like a total mom outfit. And I came in and I was like, wow, you look really cute. And she's like, oh no. And I was like, what? And she's like, you've officially reached the age where you now find moms attractive. And that I was taken aback. I was like, what? What are you talking about? And she's like, I'm dressed like messy hair, glasses, a total mom shirt, mom jeans, and you think that that's cute. And I had to have a quiet realization with myself to realize that I have reached that age where older women now are attractive.
I was that age in high school.
But you're like attracted to younger women. Like when you're younger, you're attracted to women of the same age. But like I'm at that age now where the women that are my age are moms.
Yeah.
And so her in her mom outfit, I was like,
Mama,
how
make
you
me
doing?
a pie. So that I could answer for sexiest woman life. Like I love Barbara Crampton. Like that's my number one right now, and she's significantly older.
Michelle Gomez. She's in her 50s, and I'm here for it.
He's here for it. You heard that, man. My wife still doesn't listen.
She knows my affinity for Sally Fields. Like Sally Fields is like my number one all time. Like over
That's
the
so
decades, and like Megan knows so well that she took me to her book reading, not a book reading, but conversation about the book that she wrote, just because she knew I wanted to see Sally Field.
That's wonderful.
It's a great wife.
Lindsay
Great
complained
present.
the whole time we were at Tim Capello. It was like this. I can't go to sleep in a bar. It's not legal. But yeah, women. There's too many. It's just too many. We can't. We should pass forward. Did you go Black Friday shopping at all?
No, not at all. Not even.
So
a little
I
bit.
did, and it sucked. It's the worst Black Friday I've ever had. I think worse than last year, which is
saying a lot. Yeah.
But Walmart, actually, we had gone to Walmart a week before, and they had all their movies and stuff out, and like $15 vinyls. I'm like, hello. And it all rang up the right price. So I got a few things then, and I'm like, this isn't it, like surely not. It was. So when we went back yesterday, we went to a few places, that being one of them, and they didn't have anything like TVs, but I don't want a TV.
Right.
I like going Black Friday for all these movies I've waited for. Now they're only like $10. Nothing. Went to Target. No, all theirs was buy two get one free. They didn't even have any sales. Like,
oh wow,
it was insane. Best Buy had like 2.5 displays.
That's crazy.
And you said it's probably from shipping issues, but
yeah,
Black Friday was coming for a long time. Like this is not new. It didn't sneak up on anybody.
Guys, we totally overslept. No, I actually was in Walmart today, and one things that I noticed that was a Black Friday sale was packs of towels. I'm like, wow, they were scraping
for $5.
Yeah, they were scraping the bottom of the barrel for.
They're just regular towels. Yeah. At least they had sales. I'll give them that. Walmart out of everybody this week had the best Black Friday sales, just because they actually had Black Friday stuff. Like, hey, buy two get one free. And what's funny is Target tried to trick you. So Target, they had displays like they would on Black Friday, and it was like best-selling vinyl, regular price. Like all of them were like $25, $35, $40.
Yeah.
But they tried to sway you, like, look at this cool display it's in. Buy two, get one free. Okay, that's $60 later. You have 3 vinyls, and you had to struggle to find that third one that you actually wanted. So I don't know, it was rough. You did all online shopping?
Yeah, pretty much. And we started a while back. Like I say we, Megan started a while back. Like it's been months in the making this Christmas, getting stuff done. Mostly Amazon, pat in the wallet of our shopping overlord, Jeff Bezos. But we knew that it was going to be kind of a difficult year, but we also kind of knew what the girls wanted ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So it was easier to just go ahead and knock it out as we saw it. Stuff was on sale, or if there was discounts, just, go ahead and snatch it up. So we're pretty much done, except for maybe stocking stuffers.
I love stockings are my favorite part of Christmas.
Yeah, it's like multiple treats all at once. You just dump it out and then sift through all the goodies.
And I'm a firm believer that Christmas should be things that you want.
Yeah.
And like when I give my list to Lindsay, I make her share amongst everybody that buys for me. And she's like, do we need all this? No, we don't need any of this. No, we don't. And that's the point. I'm like, if I need it, I'm going to buy it. Like, this is stuff I haven't bought myself that I want. That's just what Christmas is to me. And yeah, sure, we need pots and pans and stuff like that. And we can ask for that, but I still want that movie. I still want that vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, it's just how I've always been. I just finished with you yesterday. Wrapped all your stuff. It's under the tree. You're so easy to buy for. It's dumb. I have to stop myself. I'm like, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it.
Well, I agree with you. Christmas is not about the gifts. It's kind of about the gifts, but it's not. But I mean, it's about
It's about
family.
Jesus.
It's about Jesus. God
I
rest ye
winked
merry
at you on
gentlemen.
camera.
But I mean, it's like, especially with kids. Like I don't get as I still get excited. I love getting presents. Everybody that's normal does. But it's just more about having fun and spending time away from the world with my family. That's what gets me there. And watching my girls' excitement for Christmas, that's more important to me. But I agree that it shouldn't be like, oh, I need socks. And you know who does that every single year for the entirety of our relationship? Megan. Every single Christmas. What do you want for Christmas? Well, I need some socks and some work clothes. I'm like, well, you can get those anytime because that's not what we're doing. We're not unwrapping work pants.
Socks are seasonal.
Yeah, we're not unwrapping a pack of socks. I finally did one year. I just got her like as many socks as possible. I was like, you can't ask for socks again because now you have way too many socks.
Just like 10 packages and they're all socks.
It's just, ta-da. What do you want for next Christmas?
Now you learned your lesson.
But I mean, like you said, it's like easy to shop for you. It's easy because we like the same stuff. But yeah, it gives me so much stress every year. I'm like, just tell me something fun. Like I can't get her gift cards because then she wants to use the gift cards for things that we need. Oh, well, the girls need new outfits for the spring. Okay, well, that's not what that gift card was for.
Right. I did that for my dad, and it always ends up back in my hands, which is why I still do it. Another Kroger gift card. I don't need this. Take it. No. Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, we do at my parents' house. We do a gift card exchange, but it's Dirty Santa, and I always try to end up with the gift card that I want, which is one that Megan buys, because she buys stuff that we would want anyway. So, try to find my place in line so that I can get that double steal on the Target gift card and be done. Oh man, I guess I'm gonna have to go to Target.
Darn it. I love.
I really wanted the Panera.
Overpriced hospital food. Not a sponsor. Yell me a Coke. I love doing Secret Santa.
Yeah.
So you do it where you draw numbers and then you pick.
Well, Dirty Santa, we draw numbers, yeah, and then
Dirty Santa, White Elephant. There's different names for it.
Yeah.
We do it like I like to do it like they do it on The Office.
Yeah.
Where you can steal, but you can only steal twice.
That's what we do.
But my family sucked at it because they would start buying things that they needed. So Eddie would buy golf balls. My cousin Jeff would buy parts for his truck.
Wow.
Like, what am I going to do with this? So I always try to get the middle of the road gift. And my stuff would usually get taken. But I always try to stir it up. Sometimes I would bring alcohol, like a 6-pack of beer with a gift card or a bottle of wine with something else.
Yeah.
And I always try to make Eddie get it because it would always end up coming back to me. Like Betsy would come like, he doesn't want this. You can take it back. I'm like, okay. Sucks for him. I'm keeping these golf balls. But I like doing that with Lindsay's family. It's a little bit more fun. Problem is there's always supposed to be like a gag gift, and sometimes everybody gets a gag gift. So like, hey, I got an iPad. Oh, I got this stuffed animal. But Christmas will be here before we know it. Yeah. We can't talk too much about Christmas because it's not quite Christmas week yet. We'll have like another episode for that. But
I'm talking about going quick. Building up to Halloween felt like forever.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, that's because you have to design and figure out a costume. You have work to do.
Or throw
Christmas,
one together 2 hours.
Stuff.
Throw one together 2 hours early, like I did. But from Halloween to Thanksgiving flew by. Mm-hmm. It was like I literally said that on Thanksgiving. It felt like I just got done getting dressed up a week before. Like that's how fast the time flew for me. Like it was like
You're not wrong. This whole year's been that way.
Yeah, yeah. And now it'll go slow. Now that I've talked about it, it's going to feel like forever till Christmas. I'm going to be antsy.
It's gonna be done, and it's gonna be a new year, and there's a new COVID variant flying around. It's just who knows where it's gonna go.
Yeah. I plan on sleep depriving myself because when you're really tired, time goes by slow. So I'm
Smart.
like the 23rd. I'm not sleeping. It's No-Dose and Red Bull till the 26th.
I can't not sleep. I love sleep too much. Like, you know, you said you're that point where you think moms are attractive. I'm that point where I eat dinner at 4:30 and go to bed at 8:30. Yeah, like, I love to sleep. And like even last night, it was like we were gone all day yesterday shopping, and I mean it wears you down.
Yeah,
and having to deal with people and
the
lack
worst.
of employees that everybody has right now. So it's like 9 o'clock, 8:30. I'm like, you want to finish this movie or just wanna go to bed? And Lindsay is not like me. Like she can stay up later than I can. And I give her, I'm like, but she likes to go to bed together. And I'm like, you don't have to. Like stay up. You're not going to bother me. I'm going to be sawing logs by the time you get up there.
Right.
I love going to bed early. That's just me. But another thing is I've thought about a lot lately is this lack of employees. Like I had said, like you can't go anywhere and they're fully staffed anymore.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and you know it's a problem when Walmart starts offering better pay.
Yeah.
Like you know it's an issue getting employees.
You know where they all are? They're all at Wendy's on Dickerson Pike. Here's how I know this. I went to a show a couple weeks ago and I was hungry, and I was driving down and everybody had a huge line. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I'm like, oh, there's a Jack in the Box. I haven't had Jack in the Box in a long time. It's disgusting. I'm not drunk, but I'm going to try it anyways. I get up. There's 2 cars there. I'm like, okay. I pull up to the window and he's wait there for a second. Like, we're closed.
What?
Like, oh, okay. So I left. I tried another place and they were closed. McDonald's, I think. Like they had shut down because they didn't have enough people. So I go to Wendy's. And there were about 15 people working in that Wendy's. I'm like, share some of the love, guys. Like, can any of you walk down to Jack in the Box real quick for me? And I don't know. Like, I know
I need a
last year.
taco and a fish sandwich right now.
I want to be sick to my stomach now. Okay? Now. Nothing is better than Jack in the Box at 2 a.m. when you're drunk, though.
Facts.
That's nothing, because you're like, oh shit, I got curly fries and tacos. Oh, there's a burger in here. Like, it's nuts. And now they made their tacos tiny. Like, whoa. Like, I don't know what's contributing to the lack of employees right now. I don't know if it's because last year everybody kind of saw their employers for who they are. I think that has something to do with it.
Possibly.
We also got that extra money, but I think that's gone, right? You're not getting extra money for being for unemployment. So, like, why are they not working? Why are people not working?
I don't know. A lot of people move back when they're back in with their parents, especially the younger people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw.
Think about it. I'm like, it's just, and maybe it's a minimum wage thing. And that was another thing we were going to talk about in a whole episode. But I don't know that we could really fill a whole episode of minimum wage without offending people.
Yeah.
But like, maybe we're obviously not getting paid enough. I mean, I can say that myself. I'm getting paid more than a lot of people do. I'm grateful for that, but it's never enough, especially with the cost of living going up as much as it has. But I don't think if you work at McDonald's, and I'm sorry anybody who's listening that I'm offended when I say this stuff. If you work at McDonald's, you don't deserve 15 plus an hour. I'm sorry. It's too close to how much I make, and I work with doctors and attorneys.
Yeah.
That's not right to me. Also, I say no lettuce and I get lettuce. That's not worth $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt businesses more than anything too. And I think that maybe that has something to do with it now. Like maybe everyone's starting to raise how much they're paying people and they can't afford to pay as many. I don't know. Yeah. But when I can go to Taco Bell 4 or 5 times in a row and get my order right, we'll talk about it. Yeah. But right now we're not talking about it.
Yeah. Well, and I saw something you talk about, the minimum wage and the people are paying more. I saw a comment and somebody was saying, why would I go work at a grocery store making $15 an hour to get yelled at? And I'm like, just a year ago, you were asking for $15 an hour, and now 15 is not enough.
Right.
And I think that's the big problem, too, is that we're so selfish as a society.
Yep.
We want more and more. Like I have no problem if McDonald's chooses to pay their employees $15 an hour. If that's what McDonald's looks at their spreadsheets and financial advisors and accountants say, yeah, we can afford to pay all of our employees $15 an hour and still make profit. Go for it. I don't think the government should regulate it.
No.
Because there's a lot of small businesses that can afford that. And if you really believe that big companies like Walmart and Amazon are the devil, then you should not want the government to step in and say there has to be a $15 minimum wage. You should look at it from an economic standpoint and say we need to figure out why inflation's gone so high. Because if you look from the 70s till now, and not to get Ben Shapiro political, but if you look at it, inflation far outpaced salaries. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. It's not that $7.50 is not enough to live on. It's that companies decided to raise their prices and it outpaced wages, and it was never in check. Yeah. Because iPhones do not cost $1,000 for Apple. It does not cost $1,000 to make an iPhone. I think I read somewhere where it's like $250, I think. But they put development into that and the money and time spent developing. That's just BS talk to explain why they charge so much. The reason they charge $1,000 for an iPhone is because they know people are going to pay $1,000 for a new iPhone. That, and then you have the cell phone companies that help out by saying, we'll give you a discount because they want to make their money too. They're not giving away iPhones. They're not giving you $800 towards an iPhone because they're going to lose money. They're still going to make money. They're not. Apple's not in the business to give handouts because you can't afford a brand new iPhone, so we'll work with Verizon to give you no. They're doing that because they're still making their money. Yeah. And they know that, like I said, if somebody wants a new iPhone, they're going to pay $1,000. And it's like that in everything: cars, houses, whatever. Profitability became the most important thing. So yeah, I have no problem with companies like Walmart and whatever deciding that we have to pay more because it's hard to get employees. We're going to raise our minimum wage. But like I said, I don't think the government should step in and say, everybody has to pay because all you're going to do is hurt options. Yeah. You're going to have the smaller businesses that are like, well, I don't have the billions of dollars in revenue stashed back to offset any losses I might have while we figure this out. They'll just do what happened during the pandemic and then we're closed.
Yeah. If I took a shot for every time I said inflation this past week and a half, I would be so hammered. I would probably be in the hospital with alcohol poisoning. Because Lindsay, we would go to Costco and get paper towels. Like, those were $16.99 last time. Like, inflation. Every time, that's just the world we're living in right now. We're understaffed, we're underpaid, and everything's expensive. Like, that's just where it is. And we'll have to deal with that next year. It is insane.
Well, and Walmart will pass the $15 an hour on to us anyway. What we have to raise the prices. You don't have to because you're still a $1 billion company and you're still making billions of dollars. You choose to because your investors want to make a certain amount of money and you want to make them happy and don't give two shits about the consumer.
Also, treat people right. Treat your employees right.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of companies, and I'm not going to call any names out, but you know who I'm talking about. Treat the ones you have better.
Yeah.
And they'll stay. There's some companies that have 89 job openings right now. And there's a reason for that. That's a systemic problem. It's not just the market. It's not. It's because they come here, they work for a little while, they realize what it's all about, they leave. Because they can either A, get paid more, or B, get treated better.
Yeah.
And that's going to segue into, did you have anything else you wanted to knock out? Because this is kind of where I was going to wrap up, unless you had something else you want to throw out.
No, I'm good. I'll just say, piggybacking off what you just said, there's a statistic, and it's somewhere around 70% of employees leave not because of the job, but because of the management. So that goes to what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, and we won't. I can't say a lot about that. I don't know who listens, but and so part of that is, I think a lot of the reasons people have left and not working is because I think COVID exposed employers a lot. It exposed them big time. And when that curtain's taken off our eyes and we see that, it's hard to rebound.
Yeah.
And I'm in that boat. I put up with a lot. And I keep doing it. But I think the straw that broke my back happened last week. So for those of you that don't know, my grandmother passed away
Right.
last Thursday.
Yeah.
I couldn't get bereavement pay because the funeral was on a weekend.
Mm.
Now, this woman raised me. I had to ask nicely. So the funeral was on a Sunday. I had to ask nicely not to come in on Monday. I came in Friday. She died Thursday night. I worked all day Friday.
Yeah.
I asked about bereavement pay because we get paid for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. But if you call out, if you miss Wednesday, then you don't get paid for those. So I asked one person, and they're like, yeah, it's fine. It's all fine. Okay. I asked another person, like, oh, I don't know. Let me ask. And then they came back and said, oh, well, you don't get bereavement because you don't have to travel or make arrangements. Like, oh,
wow.
Okay. Well, that's not what bereavement pay is about.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about me having to drive so long to go to a funeral. It's about the emotional impact that it has on someone's life.
Exactly.
Out of everybody in my life, that would be one of the top 5 worst losses that I suffered.
Yeah.
And you want me to come back in like, everything okay? And I sat on that and I stewed on that, and it pissed me off.
Yeah, I understand.
And I'm like, I don't need 3 days, honestly. Like, I didn't. But I should be able to get it if I wanted it.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, can I at least take off Monday? We're putting her in the ground at 2:30 on Sunday. I would like to take off Monday. Monday was also my dad's birthday, and it was his mother. You said that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that just, like, I put up with a lot, but that has kind of broken me there. And I think I'm going to change the way I am. Like, I work harder than anybody else in that building. I would put money on it. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to go above and beyond when I don't have to. I haven't looked at my laptop since I left work Wednesday. And usually I'd be on it every day or looking on my phone at emails. I haven't done that. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it. Because
Right.
when I needed something, you didn't give it to me.
Exactly.
I wanted to read what I wrote for my grandmother because I think that would be a fitting end to this. And this is also going to bleed into our next episode. So our next episode, we're going to talk about masculinity, toxic masculinity.
Right.
I think we're just going to call it Be a Man. And this loss I had this past week made me think of issues that I didn't necessarily realize I had, but I do. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to read what I wrote.
Absolutely.
For my grandmother. I put it on Facebook, but I don't know how many of you are on there or not. But so again, my grandmother raised me. You don't know her, so this is not going to make much sense to you if you don't. But here it is. So it's like, hello. And this is very awkward speaking at a funeral, by the way. And then I was like, the preacher, I'm like, I hate to have to follow that after I was done. But he followed it up fantastically, unfortunately. I thought I was going to steal the show because it's more emotional, but he got up there and he actually got out from behind the podium and was hooting and hollering and singing, which was awkward, and other people singing. And there was even a woman that was singing background vocals. Very strange.
Okay.
But the night of the visitation, which was Saturday, the funeral was Sunday. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I kind of would like to say something because she's known as Granny J, and the reason she's known as Granny J is because I'm Jay, and I was there, and I was there all the time. I feel like I deserved or owed it to her to say something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know me. Like, I'm a good writer. I can write anything, like, fast. So I wrote this Saturday night, edited a couple of times. But this is what I said at her funeral. And then we're going to do our outro and move on to the next. But it was hard for me to say. It's very hard with her open casket right there. It's very strange.
Yeah.
And also the casket was right here. So you saw this part of my face. Hello, it was very, very weird.
Yeah.
But here's what I wrote, and we miss you, Granny, and here we go. All right, so I said, hello. I contemplated speaking today, but thought I would be remiss if I did not. I was also unaware I'd be the first one speaking, but here we are. So hi, I'm Jay, grandson of Laureen, Granny, Miss Gregory, Aunt Laureen, or whatever it is you may have known her as. Those of us in the family, aside from myself, called her Granny J, and I'll give you 3 guesses why. But you really only should need 1. I was always at her house. She was my grandmother, my babysitter, my chef, my toy dealer. And because you couldn't visit her without seeing my chunky face, I became her namesake. I became her nickname. Funny enough, one year, my wife was writing her name on a card and wrote Granny J. And I said, no, I don't call her that. I just call her Granny. And she's like, well, why? I said, because I'm Jay and Granny Jay. Like, that's me.
Yeah.
Apparently she didn't know that. She knows it now. Granny spoiled me a lot. Ask anyone here, and whoever answers you aggressively, please jot their names down for me so I can speak with them after the funeral. She would take me to Walmart, and she would tell me that I can only get one thing. One particular instance, circa 1996, was when I went to Wally World, the poor man's Disneyland, and wanted both Heavyweights on VHS and OMC's How Bizarre on CD. But she told me I could only get one, but I wanted both. But she was very stern. I couldn't decide, but eventually I chose the movie Heavyweights because I was, in fact, heavyweight. I pondered the rest of the day if I had made the right choice. Would I ever get that OMC CD? Would I ever be able to dance in my room while listening to the hit How Bizarre? Well, I did have to wait for 24 hours. And then she took me back to Walmart and she let me get the CD. Probably the longest 24 hours of my life, but she was the best. And looking back, that's probably contributed to my lack of patience today. I also learned a lot of things from her. I learned how to make ceramics and paint them poorly. I learned how to always win first prize in my 4-H projects because she would do them for me. There were a lot of stolen valor blue ribbons in a box somewhere in her house. I also learned that shit is not a cuss word. I also learned that the tooth fairy may or may not be real. Coincidentally, I learned both of those things at the same time. I was spending the night at her house one night, as I often did, and I lost a tooth. This has never happened to me before outside the walls of my own home, but I put it under my pillow and went to sleep, knowing I'd wake up rich. The next morning, I woke up eager to collect my bounty, but was shocked to only find the gross tooth still sitting there mocking me. I ran into the kitchen and said, Granny, the tooth fairy didn't come last night. And she quickly turned and replied, well, shit, I forgot. In shock of this new revelation, I told her she wasn't supposed to say bad words, but she assured me that shit was in fact not a bad word. But according to some of the looks I get when I use it daily, I think she may have been lying. But aside from cheating on school projects, crushing childhood fantasies, and teaching me to cuss, she also taught me a lot about love and caring. She taught me to be kind in a cruel world. She showed me and everyone around her pure, unadulterated love. She invited everyone to her house on Sundays to eat and gather, whether you were family or someone she had just met. She didn't have a bad bone in her body, not one bad trait, except maybe for the swearing. Every Christmas, she would always give us too much money and too many gifts, and when we scolded her, she would just say, well, I might not be here next year. Well, this time, sadly, she was right. I was lucky enough to get to see her just before she passed, and I think and I hope that she knew I was there and that she was happy, if only for a brief moment. We too often take for granted our loved ones. I know I do, and I know I have, and I still do. But let's allow today to be a reminder of the woman who brightened our lives, the woman who loved us, cared for us, and would have done anything for each and every one of you here today. Let's remember the light in the darkness. Today is a day of mourning, this is true, but this is also a day of celebration. Today we celebrate the life, love, and legacy of one of the greatest women we have ever known. There will never be anyone like her. I know she's at peace now, and I know I'm selfish for wishing she was still here with us, but I do, just for one last hug, one last smile, one last, well, shit. And that was it. And you know me well enough that I can't be serious in anything. I have to add jokes in there. The whole time Linda's like, are you sure you can say shit at a funeral home? I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to say it. And I said it like 5 times. There were a few laughs. There were a few like, I'm sure Eddie loved it. But that's just me. Like, even Rodney, like, I'll tell Rodney, I love you, Rodney. He's, I love you. I'm like, gay. You know, like, it's just how I am, which leads into our next episode. But we'll talk about that at another time. So thank you guys for listening and listening to that drawn out speech. Be sure to follow us on the social media sites.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just search YouTube, a Weirdos podcast. Or Weirdos, a YouTube podcast. YouTube. Weirdos, a YouTube channel. There it is. Good gracious.
Just follow us on Facebook. You'll find a post. Just click it.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, I'm Jay.
And I'm Kellen.
And, keep it weird.